the activities, labs, and references that we're making in class. So, oops, lost it. We're going to look at this section first. Looking at 1 through 9, do we have any troubles with checking our work on this section here? Yes. Number 9. Decigrams to what? Decigrams to what? Centigrams. CG is centigrams. So basically 0.09 2 decigrams. We're going from king. Tell me how King Henry died. By. Okay, so where's the deci here? Which one? The lowercase d. And then where's the centi here?
The C.
Right beside it. Okay, so we have our little system set up with our fence post. I need to cancel which unit? Which one? Decigrams, right? Will, work with me, honey. Decigrams here. And then where am I going? Centigrams. So I'm going to put centi on top. And then here's your skeleton. What do you have to do next within your King Henry? Why am I putting 1 on the bottom? Right, the bigger unit is a 1, and how many centigrams are in a decigram? 10. From writing a 0 out, you should be able to anticipate how many of the other are in the other. So I'm just going to take this, see the decigrams canceling, and then take our 0.9 or 0.0982 times 10, and what do you guys get? 0.982 centigrams. And that should be your answer, or it could be that recorded in scientific notation, which would be what? Yeah. I might, sorry, I need to take attendance real fast. That is my reminder. Talk to the person next to you about number 7. Go. Everybody here? Emily. You are talking about homework at this point in time, not anything else. Alright, pause this conversation. Back to me. Alright, so Matt, get me started. What did you convert to in number 7? Or from?
Me?
Yes.
Wait, convert.
What did you convert from?
Milligrams to kilograms.
So milligrams to kilograms. So you're going from where on your number line?
The M to the K.
The M to the K, right? So which is bigger?
K.
So you have 1 kilo, is this gram?
Yeah.
Thank you. 1 kilogram, and that's equal to what?
A million.
Or 10 to the 6, as we could write it a little easier, milligrams. So that is your conversion factor, and you would large step. You just have to work with this a bit more to get comfortable with recording the number of smaller units in a larger unit. Okay, I'm switching from prefixes, looking at complex. I'm sure there's a question here, and I need a question. I can't read your mind. Let me know. 1 through 10 here. 3? Okay, so this is the one that I spoke of before you guys leaving. I was like, hey, 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. That's the key point on this one. So we're starting with 23.6 feet. On the note squared, the squared part's going to come into 6. And we're going to convert. I can't really convert straight to centimeters squared as it states there, but I can convert to inches squared because I know this conversion. So everybody, tell me how many feet an inch, or tell me the relationship between feet and inches. 12
inches
into 1 foot. Okay, so what goes down here? Feet, and it needs to be squared, right? And what unit goes up here? Inches, and it needs to be squared because this one is as well. And I know that the relationship is 1 foot and 12 inches. What's the only thing that's different about this process than the prefix one? Square root of 12. Yes, so since you're squaring the unit, you're squaring the number with it as well. So you're squaring the 12 and the 1. All right, so now we've successfully gone from feet squared to inches squared. Now let's go from inches to using this conversion right here. So inches squared goes on bottom because it needs to cancel. What goes up top? Centimeters squared. And then ignore the squareds for a moment. What numbers go here? 1 inch and 2.54 centimeters. And since I've squared the units, I'm also squaring the numbers. 2 and 2. All right, now math. What am I putting on a calculator?
No, never mind.
Well, I mean, you're gonna. I will be doing that. I'm just gonna go in order. What am I putting in my calculator? 23.6 times 12 squared times 2.54 squared. Divided by what? 1, which don't even worry about it, right? So, can't remember this one. What is this one? If you need a calculator, Alex will pass it in that. Walk around so we can find Alex. Just walk, Alex, if they want one, they'll grab it. Walk. Alright, guys, anybody? No. Langston?
8,639.936.
Alright, so Alex is gonna walk around, but I still need you with me, okay? Work with me. You get this big number, right? You go back and you say, okay, I gotta record sig figs. And I know that these are measurements, yes, but these are constants that are related to the conversion process. Go for it.
I got a different number. Me too. I got like 21.95.
You didn't square the last one, and I just did it too. And I was like, oh yeah, that hits. I was thinking I didn't recognize that number, but I just did this question. And I was like, this doesn't
What? But didn't you say 6.6? So wouldn't you technically say 9.3?
Well, I'm not rounding really. I was just recording a bunch of digits. Okay. So tell me this again. 21,925. Like looks like 744. Okay, so we get a big number, right?
I'm really sick.
All right, so we're back here. So we get this big number. Now I'm going back. And how many sig figs are my initial measurement?
3.
3 sig figs. Okay, so our 3 sig figs are going to be where, Will? 3 sig figs are going to be where?
I don't know.
When you started.
What?
When you started. Tell me where you think we should start to record our final answer, this big number, and appropriate notation for 3 sig figs.
We should do 21,000.
21,000.
Oh no, 22,000. Right?
No, because that's going to be 2 sig figs.
Well,
So
21,900.
900, perfect. Because I want the 2, the 1, and the 9. The 2 does not influence the 9 round up, so I'm sticking with it. It is what it is. Putting 0 is there to call to recognize the size of the number. So 21,900 centimeters squared should be our final answer for that one. Okay. All right. I'll do one more in the complex ones. Yes. 9. Okay. So I told you the inch and centimeters relationship. I told you guys the 1 milliliter equals what?
1 centimeter.
That's another thing to remember. Okay. Now this one you won't remember, and I did not tell it to you because I thought maybe you guys realized everything's on the World Wide Web, right?
Yeah.
So what could you have looked up if you needed to?
The conversion.
Say again?
The conversion.
The conversion between what and what?
Miles.
Miles and meters, right? The relationship between mile and meter is 1 mile equals 1,609 meters. Okay, so that's conversion, and that will be helpful. And if I just say that, then I'm going to progress this problem. So 35.8. I mean, is that right? 35.8 miles per hour. Whenever you see a slash, write it as a fraction so that it resembles reading in class and makes your life a little bit easier there. Okay? So, I'm going to ask for some folks to help me out here because I got a lot of people answer the same, a lot of the same people who answer questions. Madeline, what unit would have to go on bottom here? miles, right? I need to get rid of miles. And you'll realize that in this particular question, we're going from miles on the numerator to meters on the numerator. I'm going to do that first step just to handle the numerator first. So Garrett, I'm going to put meters up here, right? What's the relationship here between miles and meters?
1609 meters is 1 mile.
Right, and that's something we would just Google, or it would be on your paper. I would give this most of this time to you. Okay, Josh, what cancels?
The meter.
The which one?
Mile.
The mile cancels, right? So now we're in meters. Do I want to touch meters now? Anybody? That's what I want my final answer recorded in. Do not touch it. Okay, it is staying where it is. Ashton, I know you weren't here, but you got lots of videos you watch on my website. Hours, right? I don't want hours anymore. I want to convert hours, looking at this question, to seconds. But some people just don't know off the top of their head hours and seconds relationship. But we know how many minutes are an hour, right? How many minutes are an hour? 60. So I want to cancel hour. I want this hour unit to also be up here, so it can cancel because there's one on top and one on bottom. But I'm going to go ahead and convert that to minutes. So he said 1 hour is 60 minutes. This hour can now be canceled. Okay? And still seeing that this meter is still remaining. Now I got minutes to handle. Amory, what do you think our next conversion will be? Seconds? Something with seconds and what? No, because I'm only going as small as just normal seconds. So I'm going from hours to seconds, according to this question here. Since I've already gone this from hours to minutes, now I'm going to go from minutes to seconds. So what am I going to put up here? To cancel this.
How many seconds are in 60 minutes?
Opposite. How many?
Minutes are in 60 seconds? Or, no, I don't know.
That's your relationship right there. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So we basically are saying minute needs to cancel, minute, and then second remains on the denominator because you'll notice it's not going to be canceled. So minute and minute will cancel, leaving us with, anybody, how did you guys calculate for me? I'll ask for one, you guys can help me out here. So the only unit on numerator remaining is meter. The only unit on denominator remaining is seconds. So we've successfully made it to meters per second, but we need a number with this is. Hold on, don't start it out yet. Everybody's calculating for me. Courtney, what you got? 16 point, what'd you get? Like 000? 16.000 meters per second. And Hunter, tell me how many sig figs should be there? 3 sig figs. So those 3 sig figs are totally not here. So we're going to record it as 16.0 meters per second. Alright, so I've answered 2 questions from each. You have one that's about the person next to you about confusions you guys hear or anything else in the first half of the process. Talk, and I'm coming around right now too. I understand. And I'm looking for the process. So I'm not just
I have it, but I left it on
Like,
basically, I bring it into miles.
Everything after the first one should equal the same, so 1609, like you know that, right?
yeah.
So then you just multiply the top, you keep going through until you're like 16. Yeah, on top you multiply, and then you multiply on the bottom, and then after you get that, you just divide it. So on top, right now, it's
Yeah.
Well, you get 360.
Remember nine.
So they both have equal percent. There's 1,600 liters in the water, 1,600 You know how many times you can't put
It's higher.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, we did.
It was a lot of homework.
What's this big eight?
Matt? Not on my desk.
Sorry, my bad.
I know. All right, so I just tried to see everybody, and I can see there's some points where I still need to do maybe one more from the complex units, but I need to make sure that you're supported with the basics, but then as we practice the more advanced ones, you're still practicing the basics. So I'll still answer the questions even if it's not the single one that you wanted. All right, so I'm doing 4. Now 4, looking at that, what unit is the only unit changing? Liters to milliliter or millimeters cubed. That doesn't even sound right? It doesn't sound like you're going from a mass unit to a mass unit or a volume unit to a volume unit, like you actually are. Because remember that cube, we found the volume of a cube doing what? Length comes with some size, right? So the same thing is applying here. Liter is a volume unit. Millimeters cubed is still like length comes with some size. So it's actually still a volume unit. It just looks kind of funny. So what's your goal here is to realize there's a conversion for that, or the relationship for that. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cubed. This is one that you will have memorized because it is 1-to-1. You can't mess it up. Like I would never ask for you to memorize 1,609 meters in a mile. You may know it now, but I will ask for you to memorize it. So 952 grams per liter, and we want to convert the numerator or the denominator. Well, look, we're going from, I heard some different ones, grams per liter to grams per millimeter cubed, right? I'm keeping the numerator as is. I might need to put a circle around it so I remember not to touch it. So I need to convert what first? Denominator, right? I need to convert this liter to something more reasonable, like milliliter, because it's conversion here. So I have a liter here. What am I putting up here? Liter, and then what's going on bottom? Milliliter. And you may already know this, or you can do your King, Henry, died by drinking chocolate milk, which is the bigger unit. The liter, because it's the base, right? So base gets a 1 here. Okay, and then how many millis are in a base unit? And you guys can do this on your own paper. There's 1,000 different there. Okay, so I've successfully gone from liter to milliliter. I'm still not to my millimeter cube yet. So here's where the milliliter and centimeter cube come into play together. So that's a 1-to-1, which is really nice. The numbers are easy. But what am I doing in terms of units? What am I putting up here? Milliliter, what am I putting down here?
Cubic centimeter.
Cubic centimeters. And this is a 1-to-1 just because I told you guys that. So what unit cancels, everybody? Milliliters, okay? So milliliter cancels. I'm super close. I'm in centimeters cubed, which is nice. It looks more similar to millimeters cubed, so we're no more on the right track. So the last step will be you canceling out what unit? Which will go where? On the top, because I need this to be opposite from each other. And we want to go from centimeters cubed to millimeters cubed. And this is where you're seeing that you have 2 cubed units. We have to think cube, 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 okay? So, which is bigger, centi or milli? Centi. And centi gets the 1, milli gets the 10. Okay, this marker is horrible now. But, yes, if you counted on a ruler, 1 centimeter would have how many little bitty millimeters in it? 10. So that's a natural kind of thought for yourself most of the time. 1 centimeter has 10 millimeters. But this is cubed, so this must be, and this is cubed, so cubed. So that's the only one that's the cube part where most people will forget. And I'll be honest, if you have a question very similar to this on your test for this unit, most people miss it because they forget the cube. Because you know how to do it, you just miss the cube. So I would put a star by that one if I were you. All right, so what unit cancels? We haven't canceled it yet. Centimeters cubed. Okay. What are the 2 units remaining here? Right, so grams that I never touched is still there over millimeters cubed, which I never touched. So in the end, my units are grams per millimeter cubed, but now I need to calculate. So in your calculator, what are you putting in your calculator? 952 divided by, so you can either put literally 952 divided by 1,000 and then another 1,000 because that's what 10 to the third is. You can either put that in your calculator by dividing twice, or you can do 952 divided by parentheses 1,000 times 1,000 to get that product and there's an option. So you should get point what? Nice. We have some time computation. 9.52 times 10 to the negative 4 grams per millimeter. Which is 0.000952. Alright, so the weird part about this one was it this? Was it this? Was it this? Maybe, I mean, that's legit. I mean, you maybe just didn't remember that, okay? And then the cube part might be the okay? All right. So I know you have more questions, but some of you guys haven't, you either don't have your homework or you didn't do what I needed you to do to give me enough information to pull from. So I'm going to switch modes for a second. I need to see more of what you need help on, but I also need to do some more complex problems. You guys watched your ed puzzle. Not everybody did. So if you didn't watch your ed puzzle, you're going to do that before you even move it back because I just, you need some information here before you do an activity. The activity is a classification of matter activity. You're taking these little particulate matter cards. I'm going to show you this up here so this actually makes a bit more sense. Right here. So you're taking these little particulate matter cards, and so it's zooming in on the matter itself. And what you should be able to determine is it a pure substance or mixture? And then whittle down. If I'm a pure substance, what are my 2 options for pure substances? Element or compound. Right? So when you're looking at this, everybody, you see a chemical bond. You see this element is bonded to this element. That is a compound. Okay? If you see something like this, which is a singular atom, it's just called it's called an element, but it's also called an atom as a singular unit. So we have an element, or we have a compound, also sometimes called a molecule. Okay, now when I start to blend things together, like in this picture, this is a blend, so also called a mixture. And this is a mixture of compound green and compound blue, and I'll just kind of call them other colors. So it's a mixture of compounds, whereas this is a mixture of atoms, or also known as elements. What about this? Is this a mixture? No, it's just a bunch of what together? So they're pure substances, but they are by themselves individually compounds. All right, so before you move, glare at somebody and claim them with your eyes at your partner. See the partner. Okay. Wink at them, claim them. All right, so now turn around here. You have this first sheet of paper, and this just is the instruction sheet, and it basically says categorizes pure and mixtures, and then further from that, divide it into element compounds and then homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. But that's what the instruction set looks like, and then these are your little card sets, and most of them are happy, some other partners said, any questions you guys might have. Okay. You guys can spread out the last.
I wish you could be conversion of
One paper. So just take write some more. 1 second.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it.
Do we go through the tournament?
Who's calling you?
Oh, sorry. So I don't know if like the puzzle was graded. I did it, but I just didn't like finish the video, and I know you have to do
I can
that.
see
No,
how
I have
far
my
you
notes like studying.
So, but you gotta watch the rest of the video.
No, okay. So should I just finish the video and let it run through? Because I end it like right when it ends.
I don't know what percentage you got to. If you guys get below like a 95%, I don't know.
Can we only have one like paper per?
Yeah, you guys can just have collective names on it. If you did not watch the Ed puzzle, sit down and watch the Ed puzzle. I know you did and you did not.
Sorry. It was a puzzle on.
That's the classification matter.
Please do not mess with my Bunsen burners. Thank you. Alex, give me a second. I'm going to pull this up here. So what is the volume of a 42-gram thing of gold? Okay. Maybe. Alright, so I'm going to say this out loud again. What is the volume of 42.00 grams of gold? Guys, sometimes the smart board is super, super smart. May have just destroyed that, so I'm going to go back here. Okay, erasing this now. Alright, same story. You guys tell me, math, what is the unit that we desire to get to? Say again? Liters. Why liters? It's volume, but what else could we say instead of liters? Milliliters, because it's not designating which one, so I'm going to put either liters or milliliters there. Either of those are volume units, so it's that stuff. Langston, what is the given here?
42 grams of gold.
Okay, and then 42 grams of gold is my given. And then, Will, what is the conversion factor for this one?
19.3 centimeters cubed.
Or grams per centimeter cube, right?
Yeah.
19.3 grams per centimeter cube. All right, so we have speed, which is our conversion factor again. All right, Alex, where do I start?
You start with grams.
Okay, so 42.00 grams. Okay, Parker, where do I go next? How do I cancel grams? So tell me what I need to write here. Centimeters cubed on top? Okay, what number goes with grams? And that's our density, right? And then what goes on the centimeters? 1, okay? I'm putting some of your homework with you, so if you're not writing this down, you may be writing it down. Not take out homework and you have done problems, you gotta read it, okay? So, go get some water. Grams cancel, and then we're good so far. And then centimeters cubed need to be converted to something more like a volume unit. So Alex, pick up from there. Pick up from there. So I've got centimeters cubed. I want to convert to a volume unit.
Oh, okay, so you put centimeters cubed on the bottom of the top, and then milliliter on top.
1 milliliter, right? So we're basically using this conversion again. Good. And that's just showing the process at the end to say, hey, this is really a milliliter. So mathematically, what am I doing in my calculator? I'm dividing what? Divide by 19.3. So 42 times 1 times 1 is not going to change the numerator. So I'm simply dividing by the only number in the denominator. 1 second, okay? So centimeters cubed cancel, milliliters left. 2.176 milliliters. And how many stick figures do I have? Everybody?
3.
Say again? So what's weird is I used to tell people just to go with the smallest that's in the entire math problem, but truly we have to go with the smallest measurement taken. This isn't a measurement that was taken. This was the density. It was a constant. It's not a true measurement. This is the measurement taken. So it has 4 sig figs. So our final answer true should have 4 sig figs as well. You might see a couple discrepancies in my problem set answers because of the way I used to teach it there too. So how many sig figs do I have? 4. And the number after that was a 1, so that has been rounded appropriately. So that should be the correct answer. Okay? Yeah. You can, right? So I know you guys can separate proportion and solve. That's not the skill I'm teaching you. This is the skill I'm teaching you, the skill of dimensional analysis. So I try not to let you use any proportions from here on out. Because I know you guys learned that in math class. We're talking about chemistry though, okay? All right, so I'm going to go down and do a harder one. Let's go back to the lecture ones because I think it'll make a little bit more sense if I start with one of those. I started you guys off with this day 1, and oops, here it is right here. And I have printed these couple. I have 10 through 15. They're in the bottom of your lecture notes. Do you have your lecture notes still? You should. I never took up any of your lecture notes. It looks like this. On the bottom piece down here. Just so you have that question in front of you, it's easier to look at. So, you guys do number 10 right now, first next to you. Number 10. It's also on the board. Go back to number 10. And I'm going to ask for a couple people getting started here. Bring it up. this will work. Alright, it's on the board. It's on the board. Do it now. Number 10. Alright. Same process. Harshita, tell me either the given, the conversion factor, or the question in this one up here. Remember, a given is going to be a single fact, usually with 1 unit. So, 45 milliliters, right? So that's going to be our given, 45 milliliters. Alex, tell me the conversion factor in this one. Grams per milliliter, so 11.3 grams per milliliter, okay? So the given is the single factoid. The conversion factor is the thing with a fraction. And then what's the question, Will?
What is the max of 45?
No, give me the unit it's looking for.
Oh, is it looking for milliliter?
You said mass, right? What is a mass unit?
Grams?
Correct. Question is grams. Mass, right? All right, Wayne, how do I start?
Draw your table,
Okay.
and then you put 11.3 grams.
Not yet. We always have to start with. Can't start the conversion factor because you get too much to work with first.
Okay.
So start with the,
Oh, the given. which
Yeah.
is 45 milliliters.
always start with the given, 45 milliliters, right? I mean, pick up from there. What goes on the bottom? What do you want to cancel? So the milliliters needs to go on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that has a 1 with it, so put a 1. What goes on top? See? 11.3 grams. Check, we've got the given down. Check, we got the conversion factor. Olivia, calculate.
Okay.
And then tell me what I'm doing here.
Just lost my calculator.
And what's the unit there? Right, because milliliters are canceled, we have grams. And then everybody, how many sig figs? 2 sig figs, so how many, or how should this be recorded? 5 what? So I want the 5 and 0, right? I can't have just the 0 though, because there's an 8 after it. What's the 8 do? Rounds it up. So I'll have a 5-1, 0. Because I can't knock out a decimal, a placeholder entirely because it's 51, which isn't even close to 500. So it's 510, which would still be resembling the first initial answer. All right, you should be fine with single step ones. Reading a word problem, what are the 3 things you're looking for? Given, you want conversion factor, and the question. All right, go on to 13. Find the given, the conversion factor or factors, and the question. You're writing down these 3 pieces. This is a single step. Let's do a harder one. thumbs up if you're okay. I still see confused faces, but go for it. Nathan, what's our given? Okay, so good point to pull out for me now. It does say blah 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 grams.
Teachers upon interruption, with the following departments dismissed at 2 o'clock for the bus evacuation drill: social studies, health and PE, world language, and EC. Also, bus 131 is bus 1090. Bus 131 is bus 1090. And a reminder for students who ride bus 124, please wait in the comments for your bus. And also students, if you park in the back parking lot, please move your car by 2:30 so the band can practice. If the vehicle is not moved, you will be given detention. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
All right, so back over here. Notice when it doesn't give it to you as a fraction, you can still read it and go, oh, per, that means fraction, that means like a fraction bar, per milliliter solution. So that's actually conversion factor. And then when it says how much of the solution, well, that unit is not always really clear. So sometimes it's mass and sometimes it's volume. In this case, it's asking for volume because they told you, I'm sorry, this time it's asking for mass. Much does usually mean mass. Okay, so we're looking for grams here, given the fact that we are already given that in milliliters. All right, so here we go. Allison, get me started. Started with what? 50 milliliters, right? And then what goes on the bottom of the next thing? Milliliters and on top. And what's the number here? And 1 here. Okay, cancel your milliliters. I meant to give you guys a 2-stepper. That was a 1-stepper. I'm going to give you a 2-stepper now. And calculate. Yeah. Yeah, you would have started with 1 versus there. I'm trying to keep you on the system though. If you have a system to work with, you're good to go. Okay, you guys can calculate that one. That's not the one I want to do. 14. This is the one I want to do. Pull out your given, your conversion factor or factors, and then your question. Any thumbs up if you're doing okay. So how do you rep? Right. I can talk about puppy dogs and unicorns, right? But it doesn't matter. You're playing off pieces of information. Important. Alicia, tell me the given here. 15.0 grams. Olivia, tell me one of the conversion factors. Grams to moles, right? Grams to moles, okay. And then Ayushi, tell me another conversion factor. We already talked about that one. Another one. Kilojoules per mole, okay. And then everybody, what's the question? All right. Well, don't read the question. I can read. I got that much. But what is the question? Kilojoules, right? How many kilojoules? So the way you probably should be starting to read questions are blah, 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 blah. Oh, conversion factor. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, another conversion factor. Oh, how much heat? Oh, that's my question. And then blah, 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 15 grams, blah, blah, blah. Okay? You don't even need to read the question. You need to pull the pieces out and move on. So I can cover this whole question up just with my givens written up here like this, and you can solve the problem. Oops. You can solve the problem without even seeing it. Okay? How does it always start? Just what in this case? 15 grams. All right, everybody, what do I need to cancel? So which of the conversion factors do I want? The 18 gram, or where do I put the grams here? Bottom. That's 18 grams in 1 mole. Okay, what has canceled? Grams. And I flipped it because I wanted grams on the bottom to cancel. Check. I can't use those again. What's next? This KJ right here? Okay, do I put that as is or flip? As is. Good, because the moles are in bottom. 254 kilojoules. Check. Now what? Okay, cancel my units and multiply. So I'm doing 15 times 254, and then after I get that answer, I'm going to then divide by 18. And then you guys will tell me what you get. 211 point what? 66. And that's in kilojoules, right? Because the only unit left is kilojoules. Excuse me? What'd you say? Yeah, I just wrote my final down. You guys, my calculator answer was the 360 one? 212 kilojoules. All right, give me a double thumbs up if you got that without me doing the blah blahs. Okay, just are smart cookies. Well, they're better than my flipped. Okay, so here's what I want from you. I want you to see that 1 through 18 on there, right? On the bottom of the problem set. I want you guys to pick 8, some easy, some hard, and try those. I will go over some more with you tomorrow. Peace. You also have an ed puzzle, the chemical and physical changes. You have some of those notes. I forgot to put laptops up. Put them up right here. Let me write on the board over here. I'll write on the board.
You did some of the work on
Yeah. Because I told you guys to progress because some people feel I forgot you had your laptops, my bad.
I get like sample Thursday.
Yes.
So you're
I have a
like,
meeting today. I have a meeting
yeah,
today.
so Thursday like you would.
Thursday I'm good. We have a bus drill first.
So I just come here after talking to him. Or well I'll be there. So like, okay, thank you.
Did you? I'm still taking them off. And I'll take them up. I gave you guys for them to use them for concepts.
Okay, so
Because you've got notes on there, so how quickly
I need to pick up something from the front office. Can I go get it and come back?
Okay, so you're saying Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
Did you just tell me you're saying Thursday or today?
I was saying Thursday. I thought you were telling me to say that.
No. I was asking you what you want.
Oh, okay.
Here you go. I mean, you have a bus.
Okay, probably Thursday.
Okay. Bye. Thank you guys for bringing your laptops up.
Do you have the problems like that? Or the 1 through 8 or the 8 questions? Or do I have that?
It's on the website under documents, unit documents. And I'm just making sure you don't have like a bus to catch or anything.
Oh no, I got.
How are you in 2 places? My God.
I don't even know.
So, oh my God, this is not really long time. I haven't seen you in a year.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
I want to come see you this summer, and then I was like, I don't know, he's teaching, getting stuff done. Were you teaching this summer?
Kind of.
I don't know.
I was, but it wasn't really much.
I wanted to be here.
Well,
I don't know. Life has calmed down a little bit. These first 3 years.
Thank you.
I can't believe it went for 2 years.
It's hard.
Well, so I knew you were coming because I saw you last year, but do you ever feel good Thursday?
Yeah, Tuesday night is great. I have 2 kids, which I feel kind of bad without, but
Yeah, you should.
yeah.
You sound like that's right about.
Right.
Oh.